Welcome to the Better Man Podcast with Ivan and Sumed. This podcast is all about how to be an optimal, conscious male in today's society. Join Ivan and Sumed as they go deep into the rabbit hole of personal growth, mindset, social dynamics, and spirituality. Are you ready to be a better man?
Welcome back to the Better Man Podcast once again.
With Ivan and Sumed, once a motherfucking again.
And again, and again, and again.
In this episode, we're probably going to be talking about lessons that we've been learning, recently. 2020 has definitely been a year of many lessons, and everyone knows this, right? These are just our own individual life experiences, and we want to share them with you.
Yeah, and when we say lessons, also it's like through mistakes. Sometimes mistakes become lessons. Not just your mistakes, but people who you've observed make mistakes, so you don't make the same one.
Yeah. I mean, sometimes I like making mistakes, It's kind of fun.
Yeah.
I think something that I learned this year was just stop thinking about it so hard, I think a lot, and I'll think about everything really deeply, and I'll try to interconnect. I'll try to connect how the reason that Nazi Germany lost World War II, and that's the reason that right now the ancestral trauma passed down to me.
Damn.
But recently I had this experience where it was like someone in my family was like, "Yo, Ivan, you're making a stupid decision. Like, just join. All you have to do is join the family business, and you'll be all right. Like, and you'll be making a few grand a week. Like, it's already easy. It's already set up for you. You're being stupid." And I was tempted. I'll tell you straight up, man. I was tempted to be like, you know what? Let me do it then. Let me let me go, But then I always remembered again, like, I've worked there. I've worked in that environment. I don't belong there. I don't belong there. And I don't need to go back. And for the past few days, I don't know. I haven't worked. Like, you'd say you go to a job or some shit in 2 weeks, 3. It's about to be my third week. Maybe even my fourth. I'm losing track at this point. All of November, basically. All of November. And like I wake up and I'm like upset. Like I'm like, I don't have anything to do. Like, what do I move towards? When you don't have anything to move towards, it's very depressing, to be honest. Like, you're like, fuck life. You're like, fuck life, right? But I was like, you know what? Fuck it. I'm gonna figure this out. I'm gonna become a photographer. I like photography. I love photography. I love doing it with people. I'm damn fucking good, and I belong there, right? That serves my highest good. I think it serves my highest good, to be independent in that way. And I did one photo shoot. My friend, it's her graduation. She asked me to do it. And like all my photo shoots, I don't set a price. I just give from my heart, and whatever other people can give from their hearts, I'm willing to receive that. And it's always been, people always give me from their heart. People always give me from their heart. They always give me, like, they pay me well. So I don't know. I don't think I'm ever really gonna set a price. Maybe one day, right? I'll be like Chance the Rapper. You know what I mean? Free music.
Yeah, man, like I've been doing pay what you like coaching for a while now. And it's really beneficial because it's like you both put in the amount of effort that you feel like, like you said, from the heart. And yeah, it's always more fulfilling that way,
Mm-hmm. I don't know. I still feel weird charging people. I'm still getting over that.
Mm. Yeah, it's a tough hurdle.
Yeah, my root chakra definitely still needs grounding. I was doing a yoga class on Sunday, and we were doing some warrior poses, and my freaking legs were shaking like hell, like bad. They were like shaking crazy, and and it was just like it just there's so much disharmony in my root chakra that that my legs were shaking, and it was like the energy was trying to flow down, but there's so much stiffness in there, right, that a lot of it was bouncing out, and it was like it wasn't like allowing for proper, flow.
Yeah, it's basically like the soul anchored into the body. So it's kind of a weird idea, right? It's
Mm-hmm.
like trying to embody it down to the earth,
Mm-hmm.
but it also wants to be free.
Yeah, that's what the chakras do. If you send
Yeah.
energy from top down, that's manifestation current,
Mm,
and because it goes from like thought to like visualization to like speaking about it, you
mm,
know and it just and then further it goes the way it goes, but then to go up the chakra system, you go towards freedom, right?
damn.
Because like the lower chakras they're associated with like earth, water, fire. But you notice in like the higher that you're going already, it's already less materialized, right? It's like less something physical, and the more you go up, it's like thought,
Mm.
consciousness, right?
Damn, then that means like the Tai Chi circle is actually a manifestation technique because you're taking from the cosmos and you're bringing it
Mm-hmm.
down. Yeah. Trying to link two things together.
It's all fucking
Uh,
linked together, dude. It's all linked together.
yeah, I know. Yo, I'm hearing it echo. Do you have headphones or?
I do have headphones. Oh my God,
Yeah, you want to get them
my
real quick?
my life flashed before my eyes. Yeah, what lessons have you been learning?
Um, so I guess a few lessons are like being able to trust in your craft, like being able to trust your instincts in certain situations. Because when you feel that something is off or something's not right, it generally means something. And it's generally very protective. Like, for instance, I was in an environment where, a lot of people were partying and stuff in Diwali. And then I could have kind of gone down a weird path of like drinking too much or like,
Mm-hmm.
uh, a strange, much more stranger night, stranger path, but I chose not to. And I felt like that was a protective thing because the next day, the guy who was drinking a lot, he like threw up in front of his parents or some shit the next morning. And I was hearing this story and I was like, really? Like he did that? But then I was like, damn, that's like at that moment when I knew like I gotta leave or like I can't have this greasy food or whatever, it was that moment where I was like, boom, like something inside me protected me in that time. So like listening to that voice of protection within, that's a big lesson. It's like just trusting in it because it's gonna guide you. Sometimes it's not gonna guide you, but sometimes it's gonna guide
That's so interesting because a lot of times, right? So we can say the voice is in our head, right?
you. Yeah.
And they're just throwing out options, right?
Yeah.
And it sort of feels like if you don't haven't been disciplining your mind or having that communication with your own mind and understanding your thoughts and patterns and
Yeah.
frequency type beat shit, then there's a lot of mistrust in your own judgment, right?
Yeah.
There's a lot. Should I do this? Should I not do this? Right? That's basically the question that always comes up. Should I do this? Not do this? Right? And in a way, I said you already know what you need to do, right? This is what my tattoo says. I know what's best for me. You know what's best for me. I mean, you know what's best for you, right?
Yeah.
But there's so much doubt, right? That whenever you hear the voice of reason, you're like, nah, I don't know. I don't think so. Though the voice is telling you what not to do. Don't do that. Don't do that, right? You know it's secretly bad.
Yeah.
Listen, trust yourself. Trust yourself.
And even if you think it's kind of secretly bad, it's going to infiltrate the mind because it's like, it's still subconscious, but it's like, it's still there, right? It's hidden. It's hidden in your mind in some way. So you feel an urge or an inkling. It's like, it's better to trust that gut instinct rather than, what comes up like that. But yeah, I noticed that sometimes we have so many different voices in our heads that talk over each other, like a chat room on MSN where they're all nudging each other and shit. And basically, I heard this from Vince once, and he said that you are exactly where you need to be at that moment to get you the success that you need, right? And then he also said, it's not your inner critic, it's your inner caretaker at times. And that changed my whole opinion about it, because I was like, yeah, why do we call it an inner critic all the time, Because if we're calling it an inner critic, it's becoming the mechanism that constantly criticizes us. But if we understand that voice still trying to take care of us, which it is, basically, it's protective, right? Even our ego is protective.
That's exactly what it's trying to do, man. It's literally just trying to protect you.
Yeah. And so when you can look at it as like a kindergarten teacher or like a caretaker or whatever, right? Then it's like you're a lot more kinder to yourself in your own mind. Even if it's saying mean things, you're like, he or she just has a bad day, Instead of it being like inner critic is off again, So, because sometimes when I label it as criticism, I don't listen to criticism. You get what I'm saying? So unless it's an inner constructive critic, which is weird to say, ICC, my ICC's acting up again. Unless it's constructive, like, we're not going to listen to it. So why not reframe it as the caretaker?
It's very interesting because you said frame it as like the caretaker, right? And a lot of times, the people that take care of us, our parents, mentors, they have like something in mind for us that they want for us, right?
Yeah.
But sometimes it's just not what is more important for you. What's the best option for you, right? So there's that mechanism in place for protection, for self-protection, right? So whenever you're in a scenario and you're having a difficult time making a choice, right? Or you hear your inner critic tell you don't do this or don't do that, right? Anytime you hear don't do, it's like, what are you trying to protect? Yeah. What am I trying to protect about myself? What am I trying to protect about myself? Am I trying to protect my cool demeanor? Am I trying to protect that image of like, oh, I can do it? Or that image of I don't need you, right? That attitude of I don't need you. Am I trying to protect that aspect of me? Because I know I have that shit all the time. That's the one that comes to me all the time. It's like, well, I don't need you. Fuck you, bitch. I don't need you. I can get somebody else. Yeah. That's fucking, I'll do it by myself, bitch.
Yeah.
Like,
that's a big lesson for me, is like, stop making art for myself. Like, just I create art for myself, but then I realize it's not helping anybody else, so start to create an art for an audience instead is like been a big lesson for me.
Like what?
Is like for instance, you know, when we act, it's like it comes from the word persona, right? Or personality or person. It comes from the word mask. So we're all putting on this mask, right? Not really going towards the truth of what we feel. And so when I make art, sometimes I'm like, I'm just doing it because it makes me feel good. And that's okay, but it's still not gonna impact a lot of people, right? In a sense. So you've got to have a relevance as well with the authenticity. If you just have purely authenticity, people are gonna sense that and feel that, whoa, this is an authentic guy. It's kind of cool, kind of weird, but then they're not gonna resonate with that at the same time, you see? So it's like this element of, as an artist, you have a responsibility to also give to other people and like make art for others, not just for yourself. And when you make a piece of art, which is like, I'm going to impact a lot of people with this artwork, just notice the difference, the shift that it makes. Cause it's like, you're not doing it for yourself anymore, but you're doing it for the betterment of others.
Can you give some examples that like specific pieces you're talking about?
Yeah. Like for instance, with my music, right? I've noticed that some tracks I have a lot of references and things that are very personal to me, and then people have to sort of ask me in order to like understand what I'm talking about or what this reference or this line means, was purely authentic. So I was making those songs primarily for myself because I think it sounds good and I like hearing it, but still, like, it's not going to impact the most amount of people because not everybody is me, right? So I got to shift something inside of me to be able to, how do I get it out for other people to understand? Like when I start one of my songs, Relaxing, you can't deny that everybody's gone through this moment of relaxing, right? It's like, and it was one of my big songs. So like the lyrics are like, right place, right time, stars align, the time is right. Like that moment of like, when you know that this is right, this feels like a right moment, everybody's faced that moment, you know? And so it's a universal type of music. But again, however personal it is, the more universal it is at times too. So I'm not going to deny that. But yeah, just start making your art for others, not just for yourself as an artist. I think the artist is the manifester, the creator who can start to give. Um, so if it's pure authenticity, it's not going to reach the most amount of people. You're going to feel good. It's going to gratify you and it's going to fulfill you, but it might not impact as much as you'd like it to. That's just one lesson that I've learned. That if I want my music to have more reach, I have to take myself out of that making music for me mentality rather than making music for we mentality.
Yeah. Yeah. It's interesting how somebody else in another situation, they might feel like, well, I've been doing it for myself. I mean, I've been doing it for I've been doing it for myself. No, I'm sorry. I'm saying this wrong.
Doing it for others.
I've been doing it for others, and now it's time that I start doing things for myself, right? So it's just like wherever stage you are in life, like just follow along, keep through it. It's like other people are gonna give you advice, and someone's gonna go up to Zoom and be like, no, Zoom, like do it for yourself, man. Don't do it for anybody else. But it's just like, that's not the lesson that Zoom is supposed to be learning at that moment, right?
At that time, yeah.
So many times people try to tell us what they think is best for us, but really they're just telling us what's best for themselves, right?
Yeah.
And a lot of times people get emotional. They get emotional about when they're speaking to you and they're talking to you in a type of way. It's just always it's like you're really just like yelling at yourself, or you're crying at yourself, or it's like those people when it also happens like when people make jokes, right? And they're like the only ones laughing, and everyone else in the room's like, hell, man, that was not a funny joke.
Exactly. That's what I mean about authenticity. It's like, it's like they're the only ones laughing at it, and then you're like, what?
What's funny about that, man? What's funny about Ace? You know, it's just like
Yeah,
weird. It's just like weird as hell.
yeah,
You
true.
know,
Yeah,
I know.
everybody has their own perception of the world as
Mm-hmm.
well. And they're at a specific stage of their life. So the advice they're giving is for themselves. You're right. It's like them talking into a black mirror.
Mm,
Not like the show because that'd be
yeah.
really scary, but um, it is that. It is that basically. They're
Mm,
talking to a darker mirror. They're talking to their own shadow.
yeah. That's what it is. Yeah, I know. A lot of times people will be like, "Yo, you're very like aggressive and shit." Well, that's kind of like the way
Mm.
that I talk. That's kind of like the way that I talk to myself whenever I'm like, "Yo, get up, do it, go." You know, it's like sometimes it just be like that. But anyway, another lesson that I've learned in recent times is is the is the idea of trying to what are my desires? It's like,
It's a big one.
what do I actually want? What the fuck
Yeah.
do I want?
Because it
Like
does get skewed by culture and media too, right? It's like, oh, that's what Gary Vee wants me to do, but is that what I want to do?
put make 60 pieces of content a week.
Yeah.
Shut the fuck like my G, what does Gary Vee want from me? It's just like I feel I've been this past like week I've been so confused up until this point where like I decided like I was gonna go full on immerse into photography. I was
Yeah.
just kind of like, oh, what do I do? What do I do? What do I do? What do I want? I don't know what I want. I had absolutely no idea what it is that I wanted, right? And the crazy thing is like I guess recently I see a post on some Instagram post and it's like a Twitter screenshot type of thing, and this girl's like, college has taught me that that I have no passion, and my passion is to just live in a mansion and blah 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 blah. And like that's how most people feel these days, where they're like, oh, I don't know where I want to pour my energy, where I want to pour my love into. I do know that I want money. I do know that I want sex, very nice sex. I do know that I want, a nice house, nice car, a nice body. I know that I want a nice body. But it's just like, but what do I want to do as a career, as a life path, right? And of course, me, obviously, I fucking know my life path, everybody. I mean, I'm making these motherfucking videos and podcasts and shit. Obviously, I know what my purpose here on earth is, right? But it's like I'm so young. I'm so young. I'm currently 23 years old. And to the point where I get to my peak, right, where it's like everything built up for that specific moment to occur, type of shit. For me to be at the top, guiding all these people, building these churches and religious centers and schools, like it's like, well, right now I'm at the entrepreneur stage of my I'd say, like, a growing entrepreneur, right? Because I know that I don't belong anywhere, and I need to make my place to belong, right?
Yeah.
There's no fucking place for me. Where the fuck am I gonna go, right? I know I absolutely don't fit anywhere, and that's because I need to make my own place. And
Yeah.
and I learned, and something that gave me confidence was, I don't know, this morning I was rethinking something that Robert Kiyosaki said in his book, Rich Dad Poor Dad. and
Mhm.
and he said that, like, when he was young, he was doing a lot of different things, like at one point he spent time in the military, right? And at one point he did internship here, and he was doing a whole bunch of different things, and he was like, he was like a monkey branching, it, and it was like, oh,
Yeah.
grow here, understand it. And then at one point he was like the top sales guy at for computers at a freaking like a really big company. I forgot the name, right? And then he quit that job, and then he does something else, right? And his parents were always like shitting on this motherfucker, on Robert Kiyosaki, right? Right. His
I
dad
hope
was a
not
fucking
literally.
his dad was a PhD, right? Guy, and he was a teacher. And the dad was always like, "Oh, find a company, stay with them, your whole life, and retire, with the money that they get, with the pension plan, shit like that." And that was the mentality of him. But like in his book, he said his dad was broke as hell. His dad died with bills needed to be paid, right? So
Mm,
I know that right now I have to really, really accept this now, right? Otherwise, I'm gonna keep on struggling for the next 10 years with this aspect, because I monkey branch all the time. I monkey branch here, I monkey branch there. I'm doing film now. Oh, okay, now I'm gonna work construction. Okay, you know what? Now I'm gonna go live in a different country. Oh, now I'm
mm,
gonna open up a fucking online store, and I'm gonna do drop shipping. Oh,
yeah.
shipping didn't work out, and then I'm doing all these different things, right? Oh, I was an actor, doing modeling. Oh, da da da,
Mm,
right? Oh, now I'm an author,
yeah.
right? Now I'm writing books. Oh, now I'm doing a podcast, right? And it's just like there's
Mm,
all these different things, and of course it's like I'm not at the top in each one of these things, and that's the thing that
mm,
gets me. That's the part where I'm like, i'm not at I'm not like what you would consider successful. Like, I'm good at it doesn't necessarily mean I'm successful at it, right?
mm.
Because I'm not producing, I'm not generating income, right? And that's what you would classify as success in this world, is
In this
is
physical world, yeah.
is the aspect of like, can you be safe? Are you safe,
Yeah.
right? And I know I'm not gonna be safe, and I'm in the danger zone. I'm in the motherfucking danger zone right now, because I'm starting over again, right? And I just have to accept that because I'm an entrepreneurial spirit, I'm still learning from all these different aspects of life. And when the time comes, I'm gonna gather them all together,
Mm,
right? And
yeah.
everything will
Like a laser beam.
finally make sense. Everything will
It does.
finally make sense.
It does work like that, bro. It honestly does. Like right now, you feel like I'm doing all these random things that don't make sense, but then at a certain point, it just all comes together because you're never starting from scratch. You're starting from experience, right? You have all these other experiences that you can kind of map out and overlap together. When I first started working with Joe, I was completely lost, super broke, man. Like I couldn't even make his payments. I was that broke. I was like, I'm gonna pay you $100, and then 2 months later or something, I'm gonna pay you another $100 or something. Like that was my. He was very kind to me during my come up. This was like 2 years ago, 3 years ago maybe, and I remember I was like a creativity coach, and I didn't know what the fuck I was doing, to be honest with you. Like I was just like, yeah, I'm a coach. I help people, and I kind of will help anybody in a sense, right? And I remember one of my first long-term clients that I got was like a guy from my college, who reached out to me again because he knew me from that time, how I, made it's a weird my college story as well, because I did a lot of stuff from the outside that you would think looks sketchy, but it's
Hmm.
actually the least sketchy thing ever because
Eating cactuses, licking frogs.
not necessarily that sketchy, but it was like me building a cult of guys basically.
Oh yeah, you
uh,
did. You did build a cult.
uh, and well, it was first of all a fight club that turned into a cult.
Shellism tones, shellism tones, shellism tones.
And that became a YouTube page called Shells and Tones, exactly, which is strange that how that got 1,000 like followers all of a sudden. But that was all from an instinct, you know what I mean? Like this internal thing telling me like, go for it, just do it. It never made sense to me, you know. And I know it was
Hmm.
never like, oh yeah, let's start a fight club, and it's gonna be called Shellism, and then we'll start a cult, and then we'll start
Hmm.
brainwave entrainment page. Like I didn't sit down and plan that shit, you know. It's just
Yeah.
like, let's do something fun. Like it's random. We're still young, you know. And so yeah, I think that what you were saying, what was your lesson, you would say, that is that like keep monkey branching? Is that what you would say was your lesson in that story you gave?
Um, my lesson was that I know I'm following an unconventional path, and I'm
Mm,
gonna be constantly criticized and shamed by people who I love, right? And I have to learn to just be fully okay with that, be fully okay with not being as materially wealthy as I would like to be, but I know that I'm gonna be tenfold, hundredfold richer than these people that tell me that they know what's best for me. When really I know what's best for me. That's the lesson.
yeah, 100%. Also, not taking advice from people who haven't gotten there themselves. I think that's a big one too. It's like your parents aren't really like, I don't know about your parents, but my parents aren't like super business people, you know?
Mm-hmm.
They're not like, you know,
Mm-hmm.
Steve Jobs type of people. They've always constantly been doctors, and that's their expertise, and they can build up their practice, and they're good
Mm-hmm.
at that. But for running a profitable business, like it's quite difficult, you know. And I've
It's
seen my mom
different. It's different.
start the business, you know, where she was doing 5 different things at once and struggle with that, then having to refine it down to what she does best, essentially. Like she also thought she could do everything at once. I'll have a cafe, I'll have a fitness center, I'll have this, you know. And it's nice to dream that way, but then it doesn't work out based on maybe the environment or the location. Let's say if you move to Japan right now, maybe you'd blow up. You don't know that, because in a different context, right, it could always have a different outcome. We just don't know. So yeah, I still going back to that thing of like, you know, what if you needed this moment right now for you to succeed later on? Like, you know,
Mm-hmm.
and years later you're looking back thinking like, damn, I remember that time where I was in the danger zone, and you know, I was going through this time, but then I made
Mm-hmm.
it out. Like that always inspires me, you know, because I think always back to the book, what was the book? Man's Search for Meaning, Viktor Frankl, right?
Dope.
Where he
Great book, to be honest.
Yeah, where he's like walking and he can't walk anymore. And he's like, oh man, like he's in the concentration camp, right? And he's just breaking down. And he has this vision where he's giving a lecture years into the future.
Mm-hmm.
And he gives that same lecture years later. So it's like he future projects in that moment of suffering and pain. And that's what I do at times. When I feel pain, I'm like, this is gonna get better. Or I change the images in my mind to help me rather than distract me.
Yeah.
Because if I'm running on the treadmill and I'm focusing on the fact that I have flab on my stomach, that's not inspiring, bro. You know, it's like, yeah, it's there, whatever, right? But if I'm running on the treadmill and I'm imagining like I have a chiseled 6 pack or whatever, like that's giving me a purpose and a
Yeah.
mission,
Mm-hmm.
and it's giving me more like, um, it's giving me horse blinders, right? It's like almost like a
Mm-hmm.
target.
Mm-hmm.
And then from there, it's like, even if it sounds like a superficial target, it's still inspiring in that moment, right? So
Mm-hmm.
it's like, it just puts you in a different kind of vibe when you know
Yeah.
what you want. And
Yeah.
like,
But the cool
speaking
thing is you
about,
you have the power. The thing is the power, like you said, you can just change the way that you're thinking about it or what you're thinking about.
yeah,
And sometimes the thought keeps coming back. It keeps coming back. You have to keep coming back too. You have to keep or it's just trying
yeah,
to tell you something about you, right? But I mean, like one time I was on a treadmill and I'm running and I started to visualize that I'm racing a cheetah, right? and then I got that whole pack with me, right? And we're all fucking running, right? Well, I mean, do you fucking feel good like that? Definitely. I mean, it's what you think about. It doesn't even have to be real. It doesn't have to be real because your body acts like it's real no matter what.
Yeah. I remember that time I was running with you and you ran in front of me and then you told me to run that distance.
Mm-hmm.
And you were like, imagine the most like fine ass redhead girl like at the end of the finish line. I want you to run, Sue. Like I remember that moment. And it did help. It did help having that image in the mind because it was like it gave me more of an anchor, like a purpose. Or a mission to go towards rather than just run because for the sake of running, you know?
Target, almost like a target.
Target, yeah, exactly. Target's a good word. But yeah, what you were saying about like speaking your desires and what you want, that's been a difficult one for me too. Like I noticed when I was going through Spiral, I had to do a task which was like write down all your desires, even, non PG-13 desires.
Ooh.
So like I had to write my R-rated desires and stuff.
I wanna fuck while a koala and a kangaroo watch me.
Why'd you turn into Elvis, bro? Once you said that?
Bro, it wasn't me, dog. It wasn't me. What did I just say? I don't know.
You just channeled Elvis.
I just channeled Elvis. Goddamn.
I just want to fuck a koala. I just want to fuck a koala.
Watch me.
Yeah.
But dude.
But yeah, they did get very explicit, right? And I was reading this back to this woman, and I remember her reaction. She was like, "Whoa!" Like, she was like, I don't know if she's turned on, but she was like, "I really like your world that you go into. It's almost like a sci-fi erotic novel, like place that your mind goes towards." And I was like, "Thank you." Because someone accepts my strange fantasies and desires, it does something to the mind where you go, it melts you a bit. There's less resistance. That makes sense. So yeah, writing down your desires, try that out and read it out to someone that you truly trust. That's a really big thing. It's going to release and shift some things from you.
And if you don't trust anybody, read to your pet.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's a good one.
Don't hear.
Also, this one idea of like, what do you think pets think of us, and what would you want them to think of you? Like, what does your neighbor think of you? What would you want them to think of you? What does your sister think of you? What would you like her to think of you? These concepts are like also great for character work, where you start to slowly design your character more. Yeah. Like, what does a stranger in the street think of me now, and what would I want them to think of me?
That's very true. That's very true.
Because you're looking from different perspectives, right?
Anytime you feel weak, pray to God and tell God, say, God, please make me the kind of person that my dog thinks I am. Your dog's probably like, it's a hero. That's a motherfucking hero. And all you do is pet him and feed him. It's like, that's a motherfucking hero.
That's awesome. Yeah, also God is dog backwards, so,
my G. Internet fist bump.
I never heard of that. That's cool.
There's another lesson that came to my mind, but it drifted away because I started talking about dogs and shit.
Yeah, let me know.
I got it.
There you go.
Oh wait, what is it? Okay. So basically, it was like, so I went and I worked out with a friend of mine, right? And there's an exercise that I do where it's like a long jump type type of exercise. So it's like running, but you run, and when you stride, you basically push forward, like you explode forward, right? It's not like it's not a regular run. It's like boom, 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 boom. It's like jumping with one leg, one leg, one leg, one leg, one leg, right? But I like to do it like I'll jump sideways, I'll jump zigzag, right? And I'll run zigzag. And then he did it too, and he's like, when you're doing that, like you really have to use all the muscles in your body, right? And when I was watching you do it, right, I just saw like the further you went, the bigger you got, and I was like laughing, dog. I was laughing at that shit. It was hilarious. It's like somebody would be like, the further you went, the bigger you got. It was like, bruh. he's like, man, I was just looking. I was like, what the hell? These niggas just getting bigger. But the realization,
it's becoming more animated, like maybe.
like freaking Hulk, like running into the distance and getting bigger. But what I realized was like, I was like, oh yeah, I'm pretty like big, you know. I'm not like scrawny, you know. I'm well defined, and I'm like, you know, I'm big. And I like that's crazy because this is like, in a way, I don't have that self-image of myself, right? And the world sees me as more powerful than I see myself. You know, like I don't know. I feel like I downplay like myself so much. You know, like I'll be like,
as humans,
I'll be like, oh, a book. Yeah, I wrote a book. I mean, everybody can write a fucking book. You know what I mean? Everyone can get it, you know, published and get on Barnes and Noble, and you know, everyone's fit. Everyone can get fit. Oh yeah, everybody knows how to be a healer. What? What do you fucking say? Oh, you don't know how to detox? Yeah, everybody knows. Everybody's doing detox shit, right? Everyone's fucking having Kundalini experiences. Everyone has their fucking third eye open, and it's just like it's not true. It's not true, right?
Definitely not true. Yeah, man, it's not. It depends on context as well, because if you're hanging around other healers, you're not gonna feel like a healer. You know, you're just like, oh, it's my crew. We're all just healing everything. But if you get put into, forest in the middle of Wichita, everybody's suffering. There's no healers in town. You're the only healer. Like, yo, you're gonna pull out the stops. Yeah, you're gonna feel lonely as well. That's true. But then you can start a community there, like Osho or some shit. You know, you can be like, you can start your own healing thing there, because like it's not a big niche there yet. So yeah, sometimes we need to give ourselves more credit for sure. I think that's a big part of just growth in general. Sometimes I feel like when we're feeling very low self-esteem, that we don't accept compliments, or we don't accept other people the way that they see us. However,
that's true. That is true.
However, when we start to expand our self-esteem, it starts to change how we see ourselves, and we're like, it becomes, after a while, all love is self-love in a sense, where it's like, when we really start to love ourselves fully and deeply, other people start to love that too.
Yeah. That's very true. That's very true. You're not needy anymore. You're not trying to pull that love, get that love. You radiate that love, you know?
Yeah, exactly. This chick was calling me handsome the other day, and I was like, is that a good thing? Like, isn't just handsome meaning like I just wearing a uniform or whatever? Does it have to do with my looks, or does it have to do with like how I'm posturing? Overthinking the compliment, bro. And I was just like, Sim, what are you doing? Just take the compliment, bro. She thinks you're handsome. And then I was just like, okay. But then sometimes we do that, bro. We go into like,
what part's handsome? What part's handsome?
Yeah, exactly.
I need to know so I can write it down and I can do it again.
I need to write it down in my quantum journal.
but bro.
Bro, I'm writing more in that journal though. It's gonna
Oh yeah,
slowly be filled up to the brim.
the whole
That's what she
thing,
said.
the whole thing.
Yeah. Someone called it the Infinity Stone Journal, and I was like, thought it was called the Chakra Journal, but okay, Infinity
It
Stone.
looks more chakra like. It looks more chakra like, bro.
You know your journal, man, your Infinity
Oh
Stone
fuck!
one, and I was like, oh,
Uh,
okay.
There's something that I wanted to talk about because I was last Friday when AZD he began his talk,
Yeah.
right? AZD is our mentor, and he said he was talking about like self-worth, and I thought that was so good, so important because like I was thinking that day like, oh, like I don't have the value or whatever type bullshit, and that's something that I've struggled with my whole life, was like feeling enough, feeling worthy enough. And I know like logically I can comprehend the idea that there's no such thing as being enough, right? Because it's not something tangible, right? The idea of being enough is not tangible. You can't grab onto it, right? There's no such thing as enough. So I know that, right? But I don't embody it a lot of times, you know? That feeling of like, I don't know, like a lot of times even still, I'll look at a really beautiful woman and I'll be like, oh, I'm not like I'm talking about like real fucking like hot, like I mean talking about most beautiful woman type shit, right? And
Yeah.
and in my head I'll think like she wouldn't want me. I'm not good enough for her, right? She would not want me. Like I in my head I think, oh, I need to be a little bit older. I think I need to be more like 26, and I think I need to have all my shit more together in life, and then maybe she'll probably consider being with somebody like me, right? I still have thoughts like this, you know, and I still have thoughts like, you know, sometimes I don't feel worthy. But the whole thing is like, what is like, it's like, what is, am I asking the right questions? This is what he said. He's like, maybe you're not asking the right question. It's like, am I worthy or not? There's no such thing as being worthy of, right?
Yeah, and also we compare ourselves to other people based on like value, where it's an internal thing where we generate our worth, right, as well. So that's the tough part as well, I feel like. Because what if you could be the outlier of the guy who, comes around and does get that woman? You know what I mean? Like, what if you were the exception to the general rule? Like, sometimes I gotta brainwash myself to get myself out of that funk by thinking of like, what if not in the negative, but what if in the positive?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That is true.
Like like AZD once told me it's 100% self-talk, this game. It's not 99%.
Mm-hmm.
It's 100% self-talk. You know how AZD speaks to himself? He's like, shut the fuck up, pussy. My turn. Like, stop
Yeah.
being such a faggot. Go to the gym or whatever. Like he talks to himself really like a drill sergeant, because that's the people he has in his mind. On one side he has David Goggins, and on the other side he has, like, I think maybe Epictetus or some kind of Stoic philosopher on the other side or whatever,
Yeah.
right? So if these
Seneca.
two if these two guys are judging him, right, of course he's gonna be that to himself. I know in game, I think he has a Stoic guy and the Joker on both sides. So
Mm.
whenever he's like really stressed out in the, like, let's say in his relationship something messes up or something, you know, really frustrates him, he sometimes steps into the Joker role of like, oh, you don't even know who you're messing with, like, that mentality of you know how the Joker always keeps things playful and light, but he's also this kind of villainous type of character. You know, it's like I don't know how to explain it, but having characters in mind is really helpful. Like having two different characters that you look up to, but then they also look towards you. So his whole idea is if he's beasting out in front of David Goggins would see him and be like, whoa, this guy's all right. I accept of him. Or, you know, whatever he would say. That keeps him going. And sometimes I'll be like, you know, who can I have in my mind that, like, you know, I keep in the background like a picture.
Yeah.
Who's the flow guy? I guess there's not really many flow guys who are doing the same thing that I'm doing. So I guess I have to create a mythical character or something.
I mean, you could think about somebody surfing, and the person surfing would be like, "Yo, that guy's in flow."
Yeah, something like that.
Gnarly, man.
Yeah.
You know, what's his name? Napoleon Hill talks about that in Think and Grow Rich. He actually said that towards the end of the book when he's like, he was like, yo, this is the kind of like a freaky part, you know, that might scare people, right? But have an imagination where you have like a council of people that you come and you speak, that they speak to you and you know, and he had people like Abraham Lincoln on his council and shit.
It's like, hold on, everybody. Abraham needs to speak.
It's like, what would that person say? What would that person tell you? What would that person advise you? You know?
Yeah.
And for sure, like,
I did that actually. Last week I did that with Russell Brand, bro. And I was like, what would you give me advice as a teacher?
Oh, you mean Russell Brunson?
No, Russell Brand.
I don't know who it is.
The British guy, you know, like he was he has long hair.
Is that his name?
Yeah.
Oh, I think
Russell Brand, who used to date Katy Perry.
Yeah.
So he was like, in my mind, he was telling me like, you just gotta fucking do it, man. Like, what are you even worried about? What are you even fucking worried about? You know?
Worst thing that can happen. Worst thing is that can happen. Like, you're like some shit like that.
Yeah, exactly. And he was just like, he was saying things like really intellectually because he uses a lot of complex vocabulary when he speaks, but he speaks really fast as well. Sometimes you just like,
and very poetically true.
Yeah, and the words just go in one ear and out. It's like, what the fuck did he just say? You know? And I saw him speaking on Joe Rogan, and one of the things he did was like, he used to say the word like as a filler, but it was with confidence. And I never heard someone do that. Usually when you say you're unsure of yourself. You're like, yeah, like that, right? But he was like, and then he went to the zoo, and then it was like a full stop. It was like a jump that he used the for the next word. And I was like, damn, that's very unique. Let's see how my was, right? But his was like,
Yeah, it's all about, and that's the thing. It's like the words you use to describe your reality are so important, but it's almost probably more important how you say that word, right?
Totally.
It's like let's just say, one time I was with my sister, and I was like, yeah, I know, cause I'm a piece of shit, right? You know, and I don't really talk like that, right? But like, it was like funny as hell for her to hear me say like to say like that, right? Yeah. But imagine if I would have been like, a fucking piece of shit. It would have been like, oh my God, what the fuck is wrong with this guy, right?
Right.
The same words said differently.
It's got to have the right calibration, right? It's the subtlety of it.
Yeah. Like one time we went to laser tag, right? You know what laser tag is, right?
Yeah.
So it was I think it was the second year I was about to go back to uni, right? And I wanted to treat my friends, and my brother. I invited my little brother to come and play with us, and he was like, you have to you tell them like what your name is, right? Like a specific name you could have, like that they'll say, oh, Viper got first place, and Spanky Mangy got a got 300 points or whatever in the scoreboard. And
Yeah.
my brother was like, he was like, oh, gamer like 00, like some tag name that he came up with a long time ago. And I was like, Aaron, say it like you're proud of it. And he's like, gamer, da da da, right? And like he stood up straighter, his head was straighter and shit, right? And he would, it's like he said the name first, and he was like a bit unsure, and in his head he was probably thinking, oh, they're gonna know that I came up with a gamer name, right? And it is so weird because like the way that anxiety works, it's like you're literally saying some stupid fucking shit that you're scared of, right? They're like, oh, they're gonna know that, like,
they're gonna judge me.
Yeah, they're gonna judge me. They're gonna judge me, and that's the thing. They're gonna judge me. That's the fear of judgment. Biggest fear. Oh, what are they gonna say? How? And
yeah, it's very evolutionary as well. Yeah.
Yo, and then you start coming up with fucking comebacks for like some shit that people ain't even say yet. You know what I mean? They're like, okay, if they tell me this one, I'll be like, well, fuck you because of your fucking your hard ass elbows. They're fucking ashy as hell, bitch. You looking like motherfucking Merry Christmas North Pole on your motherfucking elbows, bitch. Himalayan mountain ass motherfucker. Get your Himalayan freaking,
Yeah. That's funny though. Someone would make fun of your elbows. I don't know why elbows is such a thing. Like I remember, like, she got fine elbows. Remember that time, bro? Bro, it's so hilarious though. Because it's so like uncommon.
Yeah, it's uncommon. You're never gonna say some shit like that.
But you're right, man. Anxiety is just like energy bouncing out around in your mind, whereas it could be bouncing around in your whole body, the energy. So when you start doing something, that's the prescription to anxiety. It's not Xanax. It's not, whatever. I guess it can be for very generalized anxiety disorder. But then I don't like that term disorder at all, I just dislike the word. I think it's...
Disorder? Not orderly?
I think it's not orderly, like...
I'm seeing like why you wouldn't like that, because it's order according to who?
Yeah. Exactly. It's disorder, but it could be an order. You see what I'm saying? Like the same bipolar disorder could be a bipolar order, where the person classifies two different worlds and like makes it work for them. Mm-hmm. It could be hyper ADHD, the last one being disorder, or it could be ADHO, is like attention deficit order, which helps them, in their own world, or attention dialed into higher dimensions, or whatever, if they want to reframe it. But they could be depressed or deep rest. They just need to deeply rest at that time, and then they'll be back to their natural nature. Nature. Their most natural nature,
Mm-hmm.
So I think a lot of like people who label, they give you a prognosis as well as a diagnosis, but it's what you choose to do with that label.
What's a prognosis?
Prognosis is like you're going to die in 12 weeks, or they give you like an estimation based on your illness.
Oh, like what the perceived result outcome is going to be.
Yeah. So that's why that can be really dangerous, right? Because your mind can actually trick you towards making that happen. It's like when someone reads a horoscope and it becomes true. It's your whole brain doing it for you. It's like a placebo effect, right? So there's also something called the nocebo effect, which is like if you think negative things, they will happen as well, right? Placebo is positive generally, but nocebo is like negative. Like if someone tells you, "Oh, you're gonna die in 2 weeks" or whatever, and then you end up doing that because it's like your brain makes up for it in a sense. It scares you so much that you. But then I always think like expect recovery. You know, whatever is wrong with you, always expect recovery because that's the best mindset to have whenever you're going through anything. When you're expecting recovery, it's like it's just giving you hope.
Dude, I fucking saw the research on they brought in people, right? I think it was like over a month, right? And
Yeah.
every day the people would like they had like one group, obviously, the way studies work, right? But the whole point of this is that they had one group of people visualize that they were flexing their arms like really, really hard just for like 5 minutes, right?
Yeah.
That's all they were doing. They were visualizing that they were using all the strength in their arms, right? And by the end of it, these motherfuckers were stronger. Like they literally measured their grip strength. They measured their and they were like, I think it was like 18 to 20% was the average growth rate in their
Damn.
strength. They did not lift a fucking finger. All they did was imagine that they were using all this strength, and that's what fucking happened. Their muscle was like embodying it. And this is what I'm telling you, and I said this at the beginning. It doesn't have to be real for your body to think it's real.
Exactly. Yeah.
And the same shit goes for fucking anxiety. Oh, you're gonna go up to that girl and you're like, oh man, she's hot. Oh, but what if her boyfriend's there? What if she already has a boyfriend? Oh, what if she rejects me? Da 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 da. Shut the fuck up. This is made up shit. You don't actually know.
That's so true, bro. You know, one thing, like right before I lost my virginity, this is a funny ass story. But like the time before I was gonna lose my virginity, this was like my first year in college. I think I was at 18 or whatever, and like this girl invited me over, and she's like, "You want to play?" And I was like, "What does that mean? What do you mean you want to play? Like you want to play like Rubik's Cube or some shit? Like
You want to play Rubik's Cube, my G.
you want to play like I don't know, board games?" Because at that time my brain just did not register that she wanted to play with me. Okay. We went in there, right? I remember she was sucking my dick, and then I was like, okay. I think we stopped after that, and like I went to the restroom or whatever, and no, okay, so I definitely visualized having sex before the day that I was actually having sex with her. I visualized it like a day before. Exactly the positions, all that stuff. And it happened I'm not even fucking joking, bro. Like I actually imagined I was gonna have sex in that very way. And the next day she says, "Oh, I want to play," or whatever, right? And I came over and it happened exactly that way. And I was like, whoa, this stuff is real, you know? Like, this is trippy. I don't know how this sped up so fast that it happened in the next day. But I remember that week before, I had taken a 3-leafed clover, and I took an extra 4th leaf from another clover, and I pasted it on my door. And it was just there for me to look at. And that next week, everything was lucky for me. Like legit everything. Like I lost my virginity. I had good grades in all my classes. Like I made new friends. Like, I had a musical performance. Like all the fucking thing that happened was from that fake 4-leaf clover, which I ultimately made my mind convince myself that this was a real 4-leaf clover. even though it was completely fake. It was made up, right? But my mind didn't know it was fake. So my mind was simply going off of the subconscious symbolism of a clover, which is a symbol of luck.
It is luck.
And so I guess my mind made me lucky, or I created luck, which sounds weird to say, but sometimes we make our own luck, you know, honestly. Like, it's really amazing when you can set up the parameters of your mind and then it does what you set out to do. Like this woman who went through this kind of she does recovery coaching, right? So I did a lot of it for my porn addiction a while back. And I remember the first day she came in and she's wearing like a bra, like not a bra, but like a really sexy outfit, like lingerie.
Oh,
And I was,
you've mentioned this to me.
yeah, to like control my urges or whatever, right?
She's trying to trigger you.
Trying to trigger me, yeah. And I was like, God damn, like I can't, you know, like I was trying so hard to concentrate, but I just couldn't, like that first lesson. But then I remember she told me to write down different affirmations. One of them is I see myself with high-end clients on stage giving a speech or something along those lines. But I said it in 2022, sometime in 2022. Like that was the manifestation date. I think it was my New Year's 2022 or something like that, around that time, January. And she got me to write it down. And the moment I wrote it down, I started to notice more opportunities for speaking gigs in like 2 months from that time. And I was like, this is weird. Like someone just asked me, I'll come speak for this event that I'm doing. Okay. And it started to stack up more and more. So the manifestation thing is really, really powerful, man. But we don't know when it's going to happen. We can't speed up the quantum reality and like suddenly like have it happen tomorrow. We can if we're very, very good at it. And if we're at a very, very high vibration, you could say. Because if you're feeling good and you're manifesting, it's going to happen faster, I've noticed. However, what do you feel like speeds up your manifestations?
Let me see. Like, let's just say, I got it. It's making the decision. Making the decision. That's honestly, that is honestly it. Making the fucking decision, be fully committed into that decision.
Yeah.
That's really that's all it, because when you're not, you're like in the fourth dimension. Like before the point of you making the commitment, you're like in the if and maybe it places, right?
Yeah.
Like
you're 1 foot in, 1 foot out, kind of. Yeah.
And so now that I begin to fully embody, like, yeah, I'm going to be a photographer, right? It's like, what did I do? Well, I was like, well, I shared the post and I let people know that I'm available, right? And share a few posts here for different areas, you know, show the quality, and then actually I got old pictures from my archive, from my drive. I upload them to my phone, and then I'm on stuff that I haven't uploaded to my Instagram. I'm going to begin to upload them, on the regular, right? So that people are always seeing me, right?
Yeah.
And then I went to Groupon, which is like a website where you can find deals, right? For whatever, sometimes people will do like a kayaking deal, photographer deal, right? A liposuction deal. I'm actually gonna do a freaking acupuncture. I'm gonna purchase an acupuncture session, right?
Nice.
And I did my own deal where it was like family photo shoot or a wedding couples like before you get married, pictures, right? And and I made it. I put it out there, right? And then now, well, you saw me texting probably. It was somebody that reached out and was like, "Hey, how much you do a photo shoot for? A small short photo shoot for?" And I just like, I told her I do from my heart. You can give whatever you want. And so it's just like that decision is all I had to do was like fully decide, yup, this is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it. And it's just crazy because before that moment, I wasn't fully decided yet, right? I was like, oh, maybe I'll do this, maybe I'll do this, maybe I'll do that, right? So that's my manifestation. That's my manifestation to decide that is what you want, right? Decide that is what you want to experience in life.
Yeah. I think the commitment is a big part of it. It's like that deciding, you're right. It's like fully going in 100%, zero doubt that you're going to do that thing.
Yeah.
Because when the doubt trickles in, it's like always ruins a manifestation. Because other people's ideas are messed up with it, or like,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
What have like for the purpose of like examples and stuff, what have you felt like you've been wanting to manifest, right? Even maybe something that you're trying to manifest right now, right? Just kind of think about it and see if it relates to the point of decision making.
Totally. 100%.
I got it. I know what it is.
What is it?
It's a relationship. Right.
Yeah, it was close. I was thinking twin flame, but that is a relationship. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Because I do remember that with your we did on astrology reading, right? And the lady, she said that you're gonna go about your life as if you want a relationship, right? But when women come around, you're not gonna be very interested, right? And it's not gonna be until later that you're really interested, right? So it's like Tony Robbins says this all the time. He's like, if you wanted a relationship, you'd already be in one.
Yeah,
right?
You'd already be one. Yeah, for real, man. Yeah, also I haven't been going out, so if I wanted a relationship, I'd be like, going out every week, like making the effort to speak to people more.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, part of me doesn't. Yeah, I have to explore the relationship thing a little bit more, because there's a lot of, I think, different things that I have to explore in order for me to get into another relationship, because it would just toxify that relationship, if that makes sense.
You have to know what it is that you really want.
Right. I've started writing it into my quantum journal, like the kind of girl that I want. And I honestly, like, after doing that, I started noticing like a lot of girls reaching out to me and being like, hey, what's up? Hi. Who are you? Oh, I saw you on Aaron Dowdy's thing. Like, he had a podcast, blah, blah, blah. Like, random people, right? Random chicks. I guess kind of similar to my niche of women, but not exactly, right? So I guess I'm being too picky. You know what I mean? I'm being too, like, oh, she isn't the one, So I push them away, rather than maybe I can make her into the one. Or I can, not make her, but, it's like I can help her to change.
I can have her around for now,
Yeah.
I mean, it's like, that's how for me, like something that I've been telling myself is like, I want to be the guy that can like have a one night stand, right? I want to be the guy that I meet a girl and like we fuck that day, right? Or like that I'm fucking regularly, right? And the thing is, like, there's tons of girls that really like me, because I mean, I'm obviously me, right? And they're attractive, they're big booty hoes, right?
Yeah.
But I'm like, I don't want to fuck him. You know, like I don't want to fuck him, right? And what I find I relate to that what you're saying where it's like she's not good enough,
Yeah.
right? So then I had to ask myself again. It was like I was like, what is it that I really want then? What is it that it's not just sex. I want
Right.
connection, right?
For real.
That's what I want. I want connection.
That it's
Right?
such a paradox because I want that deep level of intimacy with someone, but that's also what scares me the most.
Mm,
Does that make
really,
sense? It's like,
really. Oh, because
yeah,
they have the power to hurt you.
yeah.
You know.
Shit. I mean, yeah.
Yeah, only like I said, only the people who love you, only the people who you love are the people who can actually hurt you. You know.
Hurt you. Facts. Yeah,
And
yeah, yeah.
that's all right, man. That's all right. I guess it's like
But also intimacy is into me, I see.
get your love guru ass out of here, my G.
Oh man.
He said it a bunch of times in that movie. But that movie's funny, dude. That movie's funny as hell.
Yeah. I need to rewatch that movie. I didn't watch it for a while.
Mm. So how can somebody get into a state of being okay with being hurt? Got it. Watch. Okay, watch. This is what my singing bowl healer once told me. She was like, I can see that you have a lot of trust issues. You have difficulty trusting people. Well, Scorpios, ooh, you know, and
Facts.
and I was like, and she told me, oh, this is what she told me. She was like, you know, if you don't trust somebody, they could still hurt you. If you trust somebody, they could still hurt you.
Hurt you.
Right?
Damn.
They can hurt you no matter what. Right? They
Yeah.
can misbreak that the trust or do something that's not necessarily for your best, right? But
Yeah.
how could you prosper the most? How could you have the most highest quality life? It was like trust.
Some people are worth fighting for that hurt, though, I feel like, if it gets to that level. When you're really, really in it.
I guess I can sort of come up with like, one girl that's come to my mind. She's been like a trigger for me, she's done those. She's like a triggering person to me, right?
Right.
And I fucking hate this bitch, right? But at the same time, I think about her like with frequency. She comes to my mind. I think about her fucking big old titties.
Right. Yeah, there's some girls that trigger a certain memory or a certain, moment in time. Because I noticed there's the times I remember a lot where I was with women or my interactions with women. Man, I remember I had a crush on this one girl,
She
Olivia.
turned out to be boy. Oh, just
Olivia,
me?
if you're watching, Olivia, this episode, I just want to say that you have no idea that you did this to me, but I was like obsessed with you at that time, like obsessed with you, because I made your name out to be Oxygen. That's what I called you, is Oxygen, because your name was OO. That was your initials, O2, right? Which is the symbol of oxygen. Anyway, she was in one of my classes, I think English class or whatever. And I remember one time after a theater rehearsal, we all went out to party, like, right? There's a lot of, drinking and partying going on. And I remember, like, she came up to me and she whispered something in my ear. And I didn't even hear her. I was like, oh yeah, cool. Said some shit. I don't even know what she said to me, bro, to be honest. But I remember agreeing.
Okay.
And Then she started grinding on me on the dance floor. I remember this very vividly. And I was like a teenager at this time, right? And I remember one of my friends, like Greg, he knew I had a crush on her.
Oh, fuck him, bro. Fuck him.
And he was like, bro, like he started pointing at me. He's like, I can't believe this is happening. I can't believe you're doing this right now. Like from far away. I was like, bro, please, like, don't spoil this fucking beautiful moment by just, by doing that, bro.
Dumbass.
Like, holy shit, she's grinding on you. Holy shit. Like from far away. I was just like, God damn it. And I was just trying to, kind of tune him out and enjoy that nice moment where her booty was on my, my delangadang.
Your cockatoo.
God, bruh. Anyway, that night ended really weird because I think she ended up having a boyfriend that night, which wasn't me or something, like her first boyfriend. And I felt weird after that night. I was like, like maybe I should have done something. Maybe I should have told her. Maybe. What if? That mental dialogue. But then I was like, nah, it wasn't meant to be, Like that moment had to happen for me to realize something. And oftentimes we get lessons in that way, where life shows us some things. It shows us, it gives us the opportunity to perceive the world in a certain way or get us to ponder life in a certain way. So maybe she was just reminding me, I'm a sexual guy. I like to grind on girls, and I shouldn't be ashamed of that. And it's normal for a girl to sometimes come up and whisper in your ear or whatever, So it broke my facade of like, oh, girls are like this mysterious thing, like, they're like, I would like put girls on a pedestal, I remember. But after that, I was like, nah. It kind of broke that. So that was a big lesson for me back then. And each memory that I have with a very different girl, very different experience, it's always taught me something. So I think relationships are really, really good for personal growth. Like it's one of those things that breaks you down, breaks your ego down, breaks down everything. But bro, what are those? That looks like a sex toy, my G. Legit.
It looked like balls and dick.
Yeah, bro. What the fuck is that? Oh my gosh, bro. Fuck. I was like trying to have a conversation about lessons, and then you have balls on your face, and I'm like, what the fuck are you doing, bro?
No. So basically, these things they turn inwardly, right?
Oh, they're like massage balls.
Yeah. So like when it rolls, they roll. They go like.
Better lock them doors and turn them lights down low.
And basically you grab the shaft, right? And you pull it up,
Pause.
right?
Yeah.
And it pulls your skin up, creating a youthful look. Yeah.
My aunt is a poet, right? And she had this poem like, why do we have fairness cream? Why don't we have cream that makes our hearts fair? Why don't we have cream that makes us more intelligent? Why don't we have cream that, makes us more kinder to humanity? Why don't we have a lotion that makes us more empathetic or something like that? It was like a poem like that. And I was like, damn, that's facts.
Because it doesn't make money, that's why.
You tell her that, bro. I'm not gonna tell her that. You tell her that's the answer to your poem.
I'll tell her. Alrighty, homie. I think this is a good place to stop.
Yeah.
Everybody, thanks for coming. Leave a comment, leave a freaking review on Spotify or no, you can't
subscribe,
do it on Spotify.
Bro, guys. Subscribe to YouTube, please.
Our YouTube is
For
not doing
real.
so good.
Not doing well. So just subscribe,
Stream
We'd
us,
really
tag
appreciate it.
us, post us
Yeah.
on your freaking story, right? Like Better Man Podcast, dope ass motherfucking podcast, right? Get the
Yeah.
image around, right? That's all I gotta say.
And to the first 40 people that do so, we have an Amazon gift card for one of those people. But we're not going to say who the winner is yet.
We're just gonna pick the one that we think is like the coolest person.
Yeah. We're biased that way. Right.
So do some cool shit, everybody. Go get fucked tonight. I'll see you later.
Peace.
See you later, homie.
Peace.
If you would like to contact Sumed for peak performance coaching, go to @FlowZone Academy on Instagram. That's FLOZONE Academy. If you would like to connect to your higher self, contact Ivan at odd.resilience. That's ODD.resilience. Also, make sure you follow the Better Man Podcast on Instagram. See you next time.